introduce you to everybody, but I'm bad with names. So the trumpet now was a signal that something was getting ready to happen. It was an alarm. And I think that that may in fact have been why the people trembled, because it was an alarm. Not to mention the smoke and the fire from the top of the mountain. That would make me tremble too. But what was happening was this. It was a new beginning. It was a new start, a fresh start. It was a new way to show love and loyalty to God by obedience to his word. It was a new time of commitment as the children of Israel told the Lord that all he had said they would do. And that is what Yom Teruah, the Day of Trumpets, is calling to mind. We are told to remember with the blowing of the trumpets. God never says in his word what we're supposed to remember by the blowing of the trumpets. I believe this may be what he's trying to get us to remember. It is still a time, though, to remember the alarm. It wasn't just for then, it's for now. An alarm is sounding. It's still a time to remember the lessons from the covenant broken and the covenant remade. Without God directing our life, any new beginning is doomed to fail. It doesn't matter how much we try. We will never be able to reconcile on our own, which means that we need to let God make that reconciliation for us. The other trumpet that we are called to remember on this day is the trumpet that will signal the return of Messiah Yeshua himself, who will arrive with the voice or the shout of the archangel and the sound of the trumpet, as we read in 1 Thessalonians 4. It will signal a new beginning. Just like we're remembering, it will signal the complete reconciliation of all of creation to the Creator. It will return us to the covenant that was made in the garden, as the King of Kings comes to rule and subdue creation, standing in the place of God, which is what we touched on a little bit yesterday. God created everything, and he desired a human ruler over all of his creation, to subdue it, to rule it. That's Genesis 1, chapter 28, verse 28. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. Let's say that. How about that? And that's been his goal. That's why the Messiah has to be both fully human and fully God, so he can fulfill the covenant that he made in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. I got it right that time. And he is coming back, and he will fulfill that covenant. Now, tonight begins a period of time called the 10 days of awe, the Yomim Noraim. And during this time, any offenses that have been committed against God or against others traditionally are supposed to be made right. Not by God, but by us. Each one of us is responsible for making amends. It's very difficult for me to believe anybody, especially myself, could have gone an entire year and not offended anybody. Those are the things that we have the responsibilities ourselves to take care of. That's the purpose, traditionally even, of the Yomim Noraim. We'll talk about this concept a little bit more tomorrow morning, but there are 3 books that are traditionally opened up on Rosh Hashana. The book of the holy righteous. That's holy spelled with a W. Holy, entirely righteous. The book of the holy wicked. And the book of the average. That's how the Talmud describes it. The book of the holy wicked, the book of the holy righteous, and the book of the average. On this night, right now, which is partly why this day is called Yom Hadin, the day of judgment as well, it is said that the Lord is putting each of our names in one of those books. right now. If we are wholly wicked, we're in that book for the whole rest of the year. If we're wholly righteous, we're in that book for the whole rest of the year. If we're neither wholly righteous nor wholly wicked, we go in that book of the average. And then we have a job to do. For the next 10 days, we have the responsibility to go back to everybody that we had offenses with or anything like that, or we have issues with or trouble with or promise, whatever, and make it right. And if by the end of these 10 days, we have made more right than wrong, we go in the righteous book. If not, we go in the book of the wicked for another year. But then next year, guess what happens? We got to do it all over again. Traditionally, that's what the 10 days of awe are about. Now, if we don't make amends now, the tradition says we have to wait until next year. And God forbid something should happen to us between now and then. Now, I'm not saying, do not hear me saying, it's not a good idea to make amends. That we're not supposed to, or we don't have to make things right with our brothers and our sisters. That is not what I am saying. Self-evaluation is a good thing. What I am saying is that no matter what we do now, no matter what we do for the next 10 days between us and our brothers or sisters, it will not reconcile us with God. It cannot. The only way to do that, to reconcile ourselves with God, is to understand that covenant, to show love and loyalty to Him above anything else, and that is done only by placing our trust and our faith in Yeshua, the Messiah, the promised one of Israel. That is the only way to make that reconciliation. It has nothing to do with the books. It has nothing to do with these next 10 days. It has everything to do with His Son, Yeshua, the Messiah. Celebrating Rosh Hashana is great. It's great. It's a lot of fun. But celebrating God through His Son is greater. Celebrating the feasts, the appointments are great. Celebrating Messiah Yeshua, who fulfilled them, is greater. Obedience is great. You know, some of you are thinking here that, the rabbi's going to do his Tony the Tiger impersonation. I know you're sitting there thinking, but I will hold off on that for a second. Obedience is great, but the purpose of the obedience, which is the exhibition of love and loyalty, is greater than obedience. So Yom Teruah is a wake-up. It is a time to remember that we are called by His great name to exhibit the love of God and loyalty to Him through our faith in His Son. Why? Because He has shown us His love and loyalty too. But that is a conversation for Yom Kippur. We'll talk about that next week. Yom Teruah is a chance at a new beginning. If you have never placed your trust and faith in Yeshua, the promised Messiah of Israel, now, right now, is the time. And we don't do this a lot, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to do this right now. Please, everybody, heads down, eyes closed. If you have never placed your trust and faith in Yeshua the Messiah, with everybody with their heads down and their eyes closed, if you've never made that profession of faith, please raise your hand right now. All it takes is a prayer. If you've raised your hand tonight, join me in this prayer. The rest of you can join me too. Father God, I have been separate from you. I have not shown you my love and my loyalty. And I want to be reconciled to you. I give my life to you by placing my trust and faith in your Son, who gave his life for me. I acknowledge you as Lord in my life. And I will walk with you, and I will show you my love, and I will be loyal to you.